Forget generic love stories. We are counting down the absolute best high school romance anime that will completely destroy your expectations and steal your heart. We begin with number 10, The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. This series centers on Rintaro, a fierce-looking yet gentle student at a notoriously rough boys' school, and Kaoruko, a bright girl from an elite neighboring academy. Their respective schools completely despise each other, creating a massive social divide. Despite the heavy prejudice surrounding them, the two slowly develop a genuine, heartwarming connection built on mutual understanding and quiet defiance. What makes this anime spectacular is its stunning rejection of toxic drama. Instead of relying on cheap misunderstandings, it thrives on healthy communication and sincere emotional growth. Watching Rintaro realize he deserves love is an incredibly rewarding experience. It breaks the typical bad boy trope with refreshing vulnerability, delivering a masterful romance that feels both profoundly realistic and beautifully healing from the very first episode. Number 9. Witch Watch. Nico is a teenage witch who moves in with her childhood friend Morihito, an ogre tasked with being her familiar. As they navigate normal high school life, they must constantly manage chaotic magical mishaps while keeping Nico safe from a looming prophecy. It wonderfully blends everyday comedy with an underlying, slowly blossoming romance between the main magical duo. The true brilliance of this show lies in its perfect comedic timing mixed with incredible emotional sincerity. You come for the hilarious, unpredictable magic systems, but you stay for the surprisingly tender bond connecting Nico and Morihito. Their protective dynamic is insanely endearing. It easily proves that fantasy romance does not need dark, overly complex plots to be an absolute masterpiece of modern character writing. Number 8. Kori no Juheki, The Ramparts of Ice. Koyuki has completely isolated herself behind emotional walls after a traumatic middle school experience left her unable to trust anyone. Her frozen, solitary high school life begins to thaw when she encounters Minato, an incredibly empathetic and easygoing classmate. Together, they slowly dismantle her deep insecurities, forming a bond that teaches her how to genuinely connect with others. This is a masterful exploration of social anxiety and healing. It completely avoids frustrating tropes by giving us characters who actually communicate their struggles. Minato is wonderfully persistent and charming, creating a dynamic that feels profoundly safe yet deeply romantic. The emotional payoff is genuinely spectacular, making this an absolute must-watch for anyone who craves deeply psychological character romance without the excessive teen melodrama. Number 7. You and I Are Polar Opposites. Energetic and outgoing, Suzuki has a massive crush on Tani, a quiet, introverted boy who barely speaks. Despite their incredibly contrasting personalities, they begin dating and must navigate the awkward yet adorable realities of their completely opposite social circles. This story highlights the beautiful, chaotic, and utterly charming journey of understanding someone who operates entirely differently from you. Very few series capture the sheer joy of young love quite like this one. It is loud, unapologetic, and incredibly relatable. Suzuki is an absolute powerhouse of positive energy, and watching Tani slowly open up under her influence is pure gold. It effortlessly redefines the classic opposites attract formula by making their relationship feel earned, deeply respectful, and wildly entertaining from the very first frame. Number 6. Hanakimi Mizuki disguises herself as a boy to infiltrate an elite all-boys academy. Her ultimate goal is to inspire her idol, a former high jump champion named Izumi, to compete again. Complications arise instantly when she becomes his roommate. She must aggressively hide her true identity while managing intense teenage drama, fierce athletic rivalries, and undeniable romantic feelings. This is the ultimate gold standard for gender-bender romantic comedies. The premise sounds completely ridiculous, yet it delivers some of the most hilarious and heartfelt moments in all anime history. The massive ensemble cast is incredibly memorable, and the sheer tension of Mizuki almost getting caught constantly keeps you hooked. It is pure nostalgic perfection that flawlessly balances absolute absurdity with deep romantic passion. Number 5. Yowayowa Sensei. This bizarrely captivating series focuses on an overwhelmingly timid high school teacher who completely lacks any authority. She constantly fumbles her daily duties, only to be secretly rescued by a surprisingly perceptive and slightly rebellious male student. Their unique dynamic creates a strange, comedic, and strangely heartwarming scenario where the roles of protector and student are totally reversed. While teacher and student romances often fall into wildly problematic territory, this one thrives purely on wholesome comedy and undeniable awkwardness. The sheer vulnerability of the teacher makes her an instantly endearing protagonist. You cannot help but root for her tiny victories. It delivers consistent laughs while subtly building a relationship grounded in quiet support, making it a surprisingly sweet standout in the crowded genre. Number 4. Kimi to Boku no Ashiato, Your Footprints and Mine. This deeply moving anime follows two childhood friends who slowly drift apart as they enter high school. When a sudden tragedy forces them back together, they must retrace their shared past to uncover hidden feelings. The story beautifully intertwines themes of intense grief, personal redemption, and the delicate, terrifying process of falling in love with an old friend. Prepare yourself to absolutely bawl your eyes out. This is not your standard lighthearted high school romp. It is a profoundly mature, emotionally devastating masterpiece that treats teenage feelings with incredible respect. The visual direction alone is stunning, utilizing breathtaking scenery to perfectly reflect their internal turmoil. It hits incredibly hard, leaving a massive, lasting impression long after the final closing credits completely finish rolling. Number 3. Tokidoki Basoto, Russia go dedereru tonari no Alia-san. Alia is a stunning, highly intelligent transfer student who frequently mutters sweet, flirtatious comments in Russian to hide her massive crush on her incredibly lazy deskmate, Kuz. However, she has absolutely no idea that Kuze secretly understands Russian perfectly. This creates a phenomenally entertaining dynamic where he constantly listens to her secret confessions while pretending to be ignorant. This incredibly clever premise guarantees endless pure entertainment. The sheer dramatic irony of knowing exactly what Alia is saying elevates every single interaction. Kuze is shockingly perceptive, making his internal reactions absolutely priceless. It takes the standard tsundere trope and flawlessly injects it with a massive dose of fresh comedic brilliance. You will absolutely fall in love with their hilarious dynamic and fun banter immediately. Number 2. Kowloon generic romance set within a beautifully rendered, slightly futuristic version of Kowloon Walled City. This anime follows real estate agents Reiko and Hajime. What begins as a charmingly mundane workplace romance slowly transforms into a deeply unsettling psychological mystery. Reiko soon discovers horrifying discrepancies in her memories, forcing her to deeply question reality, her own identity, and her profound affection. This is arguably the most fiercely unique entry on our entire list. It masterfully blends warm, everyday romance with a genuinely chilling dystopian atmosphere. The chemistry between the leads feels incredibly mature and incredibly grounded, making the unfolding sci-fi mystery even more impactful. It is an absolute visual feast that will completely scramble your brain while simultaneously breaking your heart into a million little pieces. Number 1. Does it count if you lose your innocence to an android? This incredibly bold anime follows a deeply introverted high school girl who unexpectedly purchases a highly advanced romance android to practice social interactions. What starts as a purely mechanical, deeply embarrassing arrangement quickly evolves into a shockingly complex exploration of genuine intimacy, artificial intelligence, and the profoundly complicated nature of modern human connection in a lonely digital world. Do not let the provocative title fool you for a single second. This show delivers an absolute masterclass in philosophical storytelling. It tackles the massive ethical dilemmas of artificial love with shocking sincerity. The incredibly compelling narrative will grab your absolute undivided attention instantly. It earns the number 1 spot by flawlessly pushing boundaries and permanently redefining what anime romance can truly achieve right now. These 10 incredible series completely shatter the boundaries of traditional high school romance, delivering profound emotional healing alongside massive entertainment. Which of these groundbreaking shows will you start watching tonight? Share your top picks below and prepare for our next deep dive into pure anime excellence.